What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of P1. A lot has gone down the last month, but I'm here with my co-hosts Slacked and Censor. How you guys doing today?
Doing great, Brian. I don't even know what I'm saying right now. I'm just gassing up Doug so much before the show, but I'm doing good, man. I'm happy to talk some COD with you.
I'm feeling great, Jerry. Appreciate you having me on as always. No, I'm just kidding. No, Brian, feeling good, man. You know how we feel, man. We got the team ready for this tournament we got. We're in the losers finals right now, so we're playing for grand finals at 6, and then we got champs qualifier on Sunday, so we're in full grind mode right now. We're ready to go, and I'm just excited to watch and play some Call of Duty and talk some Call of Duty too, so let's get it.
Love to hear that. Yeah, we got a lot to talk about today, and I'm excited for some of these things. I think, we're going to go straight into it. We're going to be going back into the season. We're going to be talking about, basically the teams that didn't qualify for champs and kind of reviewing their season. The first one, we got Florida Mutineers. A lot of you guys know they barely didn't make it, to champs. They ended up having 160 points from the CDL. Their best major placement was 4th. Money earned 102K. 9th place finish. And I mean, what do you guys think about their year? They've had a long year. They've made so many roster changes. And I feel like right off the bat, I didn't really agree with their roster. They definitely could have done things differently.
Yeah, I agree with you a lot, Brian. I think all of us are probably going to be on the same page with this. I think they have a lot of good talent on that team, but I think you need to have a good mix of just players that are aggressive and players that are slow and can play their life. And obviously, Caesar and Joe are two of the slower players that like to put up kills consistently. So I don't understand. Although I love Major Maniac, and if you look at my DMs with him, all I do is gas him up. I don't understand why they'd bring him into that team. I think Turo was a good pickup, although people like to just clown him all the time and he's dropping .6s here and there. It's like, dude, this guy knows how to win the game. I know he knows how to win, and he's a good player, but he's playing with Major, Caesar, and Joe. Any sub playing with Major, Caesar, and Joe will look horrible because of the pacing of that team on a game like this. So I just think that they just never got it right throughout the season. I don't know why they never had two sub players on the team. I don't understand what their coach was thinking, or their GM, or whoever makes the shots, the players. But obviously everyone thinks this, and I don't know why the team and players didn't get another sub player. It just makes too much sense, to be honest.
Maybe they just overlooked it in a way. Like it makes sense, but in their head is like, we can make it work. Don't worry about it. We'll figure it out. But I feel like at the end of the day, Call of Duty needs that. I feel like that what's kind of makes the perfect team. Having that kind of two aggressive SMG players, and then just having the best like roles to fit each other.
Yeah, I mean, I think you can even go way back to like at the end of Cold War. They had Havoc and they had Neptune. They obviously had Neptune the entire Cold War year, even back to when I was on the team. And then they basically change him out. Get rid of him in the offseason, trade him to New York, and then they create this roster. And like, I think what Doug said is perfect. Like, everyone was sitting there wondering, why in the world did you bench Dave Patty to put in Major Maniac and not another sub player? Then Havoc ended up being a really good sub this year too. So it's just kind of funny. I don't think the roster changes have really made sense. I'm really curious to see what they'll do in the offseason, and kind of if they'll keep Awakening in Skies and get two new subs, or maybe they branch out and some of the contracts are done. It'll definitely be interesting, but I think the whole entire year, a lot of people were sitting there with question marks when this roster was making changes.
And I do want to say though, I feel like if I was in their shoes, if I was Willett, who's their coach, Phil, I think his name is, if you're seeing this like mediocrity in the pro league, it's really difficult when you're like in the middle of the pack of the league and you don't know exactly how good or how bad your team is. And my opinion, if you feel like you're in that situation, you need to make changes. You got to give the players time to like figure it out and work through it. Because Brian, Jerry, we all know. I mean, dude, Brian, what did you get? T24 in Anaheim, and that same team went to the World Championship and they placed second.
Yeah.
Or or even I'll roast me right now. I got T48 at Minnesota, and since then I've gotten 5th, 4th, and 3rd minimum with the same players. We have the same team. Like nothing's changed.
Same team exactly.
We have one different player in the team, but we did a role swap and we kept. But it's like, dude, like you got to give it some time to marinate and sit. But I definitely think that when they made the move to get Too Real, it was the right time to get him. I just think they needed to keep Reese. I don't know why. If they just kept Reese, brought in Too Real, I think that team would be at champs right now.
I think it might have been some heated arguments, that maybe their chemistry kind of fell off. I mean, I definitely had that experience with Reese last year on LAG. We definitely butt heads. He was butting heads with the team. He wants to, his play style. It's very aggressive. He gets in your face, like type of player. And I don't know. I guess I honestly, Doug, I just felt like maybe they kind of fell apart inside. Maybe he didn't want to play with certain players. He didn't want to play with them, like kind of how it was in our situation. And they maybe just couldn't make it work. But I do agree. 2 SMG players was definitely the move. And it's just like they just never did it. But I'm sure it's like kind of a thing where you live and you learn. And, hopefully next year they definitely have like that secret sauce you kind of want on the roster. And for the next team we're going to be going on to is the LA Guerrillas. 155 CDL points, so close to qualifying for champs, but just didn't make it. They did end up winning a major, which is pretty crazy. The fact that they didn't qualify, 220K earned and finished at 10th. Obviously, for the last roster we had was Slasher, Hook, Neptune, and Spart. I feel like this team had so much potential all year long. I felt like they're so close to being one of the best teams, and just little mistakes here and there. And it just sucks not to see them at champs. But Jesus, there's a lot to break down with this team. I guess we could start from the beginning. At first they weren't really working too well, but they started to finally mesh. And then I know Gunless had the stomach issue, and he had to kind of take a step back. That's where Spark came in, and then they ended up winning us major. And I don't know, I guess it started to fall apart again from there.
Well, I think Brian, I'm sorry to cut you off, Jerry, but I think Brian, good. If I'm LAG, if I'm Ricky, because he's their coach, right? And Bevels
it's Bevels and Ricky, yeah.
Dude, if I'm them, I run it back with the same roster. Like, I'm not even joking. I would just keep the same team. Dude, I think that team is going to be really good. Yeah, 100%. I would keep the same roster.
Yeah. I honestly, I believe in you. I believe in that too.
Like, it sucks that they fell short, honestly, and we just got to be realistic about this. You got to look at it from every angle, man. Like, what did they finish? 10th? 9th?
Yeah, 10th, right? But they're literally like one place away from qualifying for champs.
Okay,
I don't think these what New York does, but
these like titles in the league, do not matter at all. Like, FaZe is the number one team. What have they won this year? Nothing. FaZe has won absolutely nothing. So I don't care what anyone says. They haven't won anything this year, but they're number one. LAG's number 10. They won a championship this year. So these standings, to me, it's super competitive top to bottom. Every team is really good. I think that this team is really good. And I think that if this team was a team from the start, they definitely would have been one of the top 8 teams in the league. I think they found the right formula for players. They just didn't find it at the right time in the right place. They were a little bit behind in the standings. They weren't able to make the run and put it together. We've seen this with teams at majors consistently throughout this year. Seattle surged, like at first with LAG and Spart, we could all say, oh, they only won because of the Volk, which is fair. I think everyone on that team even feels that way too. But you even see it with Seattle. I mean, they won a major, and then the next one they got dead last. And no meta changes, no role changes, no player changes. First to last. That just shows you that this league is extremely competitive. And if you have a team that can win, you just got to keep on looking forward to the next tournament. You can't expect to win them all. You can't expect to be Atlanta, FaZe, and Cold War. I think that it's set these unrealistic expectations for players and teams. So if I'm LAG, if I'm Ricky, if you're watching this, Rick, I know you're going to see this, run it back with the same team. You're welcome.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's what you said too, Brian. Like, they started super slow. I was just going to say, like, I feel like this may sound crazy. I think winning a championship is amazing, but we all knew they were struggling extremely bad. And then the Gunless situation happened, and he goes out, Spark comes in, and they do just this miracle run at this event. I want to say they lost at they won at the worst time of the year, in my opinion. They were at like that middle of the point of the year where you can actually make an opportunity to have a roster change or a role swap, and maybe they have this roster they have now earlier in the year, but they get this delay on to where they're put in a situation where it's like, do they keep the same roster that they just won with, or do they put back in Gunless and, you know, he's healthy and fine now? It's like they run it back with Spart. I think everybody saw it from a mile away that they're probably going to struggle. Maybe they don't go on that 11-game winning streak and search and destroy. And then it's like we saw the struggles continue. They put back in Gunless, and like the chemistry just isn't there. So it's just like, for me, it was like they won at just such a rough time, and they were put in such a tough situation, and it was just a little too late. I think I agree with Doug. If they have this roster from the beginning of the year, I think they definitely would have qualified.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I kind of agree with that in terms of like maybe it was a bad time to win, but at the end of the day, like they got so many CDL points for that. I think after that weekend, they were like 3rd or 4th on the leaderboard and in points, and like I felt like it put them in a good spot. But then at the end of the day as well, like you said, I mean, they have to make a lot of roster changes. They have to make decisions, especially when they come back home. They're not performing as well as they wanted to. And I don't know. I feel like Asim, honestly, I think Asim's an animal. I really wish like he would still be on this roster and stayed. He definitely showed like some really crazy performances and was a reason why they won some of the maps. But I guess things just didn't work out, and they had to make a change and like try to figure it out, especially towards the end of the year, just to have a chance to qualify for champs. But I mean, overall, you know, it was a good year. Other than, you know, not qualifying for champs, I really wanted to see them play there. They still won a major, which was, I'm pretty sure, was LAG's first major, which was pretty dope. And yeah, but that's it for that one. Let's move on to the next one. Let's go over here, and we're gonna be talking about the one and only Paris Legion. I mean, 20 points to the CDL. They have placed best major placement 7th through 8th. The money earned 22,000, which is kind of crazy because we're gonna be talking about that with the next one too. Finished 12th, and then their squad was Temp, Gravity, Johnny, Jimbo. And this was like a, I feel like from the beginning, I'm gonna stay straight up from the beginning. I felt like their team, their roster was just not it on paper. It just felt like it wasn't the best idea. I guess they maybe went the cheap route or whatever it is, but I felt like they could have done so much better when it comes to that. I don't know what you guys think about that one.
I have zero excuses for this team or organization without being super mean. They went 2-23 this year, and I think everybody saw it. If you go back all the way to the end of Cold War, with the team who ended up winning the AM championships, it was ProLoot, Saints, Mohawk, and Spart. Look who's on starting rosters. ProLoot was on Optic. He did great this year, performed really well, given the situation that he was put in. Mohawk has looked great through challengers all year long, been arguably one of the top teams before he got dropped from that Toronto Ultra Academy team. And then you look at Spart, he's, like we were just talking about, starting on LAG. All those players were available. All those players had no offers at the beginning of the year. Paris could have done so much more from the get-go. They went the old school route with some veteran players. It doesn't work out. They did the typical thing. They only make a roster change or two, and it doesn't work out again. And then they're also the only team not playing in a facility for these online league matches, which means so much. So I don't know. It's hard to feel bad for a team or even talk about a roster when they're just set up for failure from the start.
I'm with Jerry on that too. I mean, look, you got Donnie. They're all saying free temp. Look, it's a team game. You win and lose as a team, dude. And that's not a team. It's just simply not a team. Like, it doesn't matter who's on the roster. You could put, I think the MVP frontrunner right now is probably Celium, even though he hasn't won on the game. You could put Celium on that team. They're still going to be dead last in the standings. Maybe he'll get them up to 11th because he's that great. The reason isn't that those players aren't good or the coaching staff isn't good. It's just that it's not a team. I think that people go into Paris and they just expect to lose and just get a little $4,000 a month salary or something like that, and then lose your career. Like, that's what the talk is around Paris when you play in challengers, at least. And I'm just being brutally honest on how anyone who joins their roster feels and thinks. So I think that Paris needs to just have a culture change. I know that they're moving to Las Vegas next season. I think that's really good. I think that's great for their organization. I think they need to hire a social media manager. I think they need to hire somebody who could direct content for them. I think they need to change the image of their team around, and I think the move to Vegas is a great opportunity to do that. If it was me, if I was their team or their coach, I don't know what they're going to do if they're keeping McGee, if they're keeping whoever they have, but I just really think that they need to have a culture change. If I'm Paris Legion, if I'm a player on this team, if I'm a coach for this team, I'm going to make sure behind closed doors, everyone on my team knows that we're grinding. And I don't care what the standings say. I don't care what the internet says. I'm making my players not read, like, I can't make them, but it's like, don't read into anything on Twitter. It's all some fugazi. Who cares? It doesn't matter. Win the game. Focus on winning the game. Focus on setting a good culture. They need a culture change. That's number one more than anything. Anyone who's going to join that team right now, and then you look at the players on the team too that they've had throughout the season, these guys aren't the ones that want to be inspiring and changing around. I'd say Tom Gravity is somewhat like that. But these guys aren't going to that team with that mentality. They're going with that team with that mentality. Let me put up a good stat line in the league, which is sad because I know there's a lot of players that do that to get money. Let's put up a good stat line, let's get kills, and let's get a new contract so we can keep getting paid. It's like, you should be in the league because you want to win in the league. So join Paris Legion and try to change that culture around and make it something worthwhile that's going to be there for years to come, not being a part of the legacy of losing every single day. That's my opinion on Paris.
I think that's a really good point, Doug. I never really viewed it that way. I think, like, when I look at Paris, like, I think of that like a team that's just not performing well. It's not going to do well, kind of a losing team, and they just have like that. Just, I don't know. I like that that point of they got to change a lot of stuff inside, and also what Jerry said, I feel like as well. That's a good point too. Like, if they're gonna go like the cheaper route, let's say, or like take a chance on these, newer, like, they should have just took a chance on the newer players, like Spar. Like, they could have got some of these guys and like made a mix of like veterans / like this new hungry talent, and they definitely could have probably had a better, showing, especially at the start. But yeah, I mean, it was just like another bad year for them, and hopefully next year they could turn it around, because I've been there, Slacked and I've been there at the, in Seattle when we had such a bad year, and it's definitely not fun at all. It's mentally, it's a lot on your mental. And well, let's just move on to the next team. And we got the one and only Minnesota. This team, so much potential. Again, another team that was kind of close to qualifying for champs, but didn't. They placed 7th through 8th, their best major placement, just like Paris. Money earned 40K, finished 11th, and Attached Priest of Standy Havoc were the final roster. So, I mean, right off the rip, I think this team had so much potential. Even the team with the Major Maniac, it feels like they never really could again connect the dots. It was like one of those teams where you saw like their potential, like they were winning some matches, they were looking good. Next day they look bad, and it sucks because obviously I feel like Attached was frying at the major too. He was doing really well, but like, what do you guys think? Like something they could have done better throughout the year?
I'm gonna be honest. I think this is like an ongoing trend that I see majority of the years, and it seems to follow him. I think Priesta needs to figure out his role early into the next game right away. Every team that this guy's on, if he's struggling with the submachine gun or struggling with an AR, he'll flip-flop back and forth, and then it kind of changes the whole entire team dynamic. And it's like when you're creating these rosters before the game comes out, you don't know if it's going to be a fast-paced game, if it's going to be slower and more methodical game. But in the last few years, it's been a very fast-paced Call of Duty. And it's like these rosters come out and he's not good with one of the roles. He's struggling early on. And then, like I said, he switches. And then it's like the whole entire atmosphere of the team changes, because if he wants to run an AR now, it's like, okay, now the pacing's off. Now our main AR, who is Major Maniac, it's like he feels uncomfortable. He maybe has to play a little bit faster. And I just feel like from the get-go, that was their biggest problem. I liked how they were active through the year. They picked up new challenger players. They did tryouts and tried to make things work. And I think this roster was solid, and it had some good showings, and they were really performing and actually had like a good formula. But as well as LAG, like what we said earlier, I think in my opinion, it was just a little too late. And they could have made it work if they would have maybe done something a little bit earlier into the season.
I find this team extremely interesting because I look at every player on this team, including Major, including Havoc who joined, and I mean, look at someone like Colt, man. Like this guy, he's been through it all. I've seen this guy since Ghost going up and down, up and down. I was like, it's Colt, he's whatever. Dude, this guy put his head down since MW till now. This guy, Colt, is different. Like his mentality, his work ethic, and his performance when he joined ROKKR has been incredible. So even Colt, bro, he was one of the best players on this team. Dylan was frying. Eli was their MVP all of last year. He struggled. He was inconsistent a lot this year. He only found grooves every now and then. Same with Priesta. There's so much talent on this roster. I think a lot of it has to be a mental thing. And I agree with a lot of what you just said, Jerry, about roles. I think Priesta is a very crucial piece to this team. He was struggling in the beginning of the year. He found a stride midway through the year for a little bit. Then they made their, obviously, roster change, moving Dylan to the main AR, bringing in Havoc, having him run the sub. But I always looked at Havoc as more of like a OBJ, selfless sub player, but he's changed his play style up completely. And now Standy's the one who's running the OBJ, and he's used to not doing that. And it's like, you got to get people who know what they want to do. So you got to get an OBJ sub, you got to get a Slayer sub, you got to get a flex that can get kills, you got to get an AR that can lock down their lanes, right? There's a few different ways of playing the game, but I ultimately think it comes down to Priesta, because if they have Dylan on the main, frying the way he is, and then you have Priesta figuring out what he wants to do. If you want to run a sub, if you want to run an AR, if you want to run a flex, obviously the flex role just sounds right on paper. I just feel like it's one of those games where he just never figured it out, and it's okay. It happens. Right? Like, I don't like this culture that we have right now in Call of Duty where it's like, you just dropped a .72. You dropped. Your career is over and you're never coming back ever again in your life. Brian, if that's the case, you would have never won a world championship. How would you have won a world championship with that mentality? Like, it wasn't like that back then. I don't like this mentality. It's this instant gratification of social media. Oh my God, this guy's 14 and 24. You see this? He's so bad. Oh, look at him, bro. Oh my God, he's won 17 and 26. He's horrible. It's like, dude, I just watched Scump go 14 and 23 to lose to FaZe with no hill time. And Shotzi's like 27 and 25. He's probably just like, damn. You know, but like, we've been around for a long time, so we know it's just how it goes, man. Like, the level of competition is so good where players are going to have off games, off series, off years. Preston had an off year, man. Preston had an off year. He's still one of the greatest players in the game, one of the greatest players on the planet. And it's fine. It happens, dude. Like, if I'm Minnesota, like, they have a really interesting offseason in front of them. Obviously, they underperformed throughout the year. They didn't make top 8, but they have a very interesting season coming up next year. I would do one-on-one interviews with these players, see where their heads are at. Because I saw Preston a little bit at the New York after party, and I could tell, obviously not qualifying, he's not happy right now. So, but same thing with Octane, right? Like, he didn't win for a few years, and he just won again for the first time. Like, it's how it's gonna go. Like, you have to take it with a grain of salt. You have to put your all into it every day and just keep going. And Minnesota, I wouldn't really make too many changes. I would see how everyone feels and go from there if I was them.
Yeah, I like that. That's some good points. I really want to see my guy Attach succeed. That's one of my favorite teammates of all time. But let's move on to the next thing. We're going to be talking about the MVP year picks. There's obviously been some crazy performances and some crazy, players this year. There's a couple people to pick from. I know, top of my head, you got like a BZ, Simp, Celium, Shotzi, Scumper Jumper. I mean, the crazy thing is like a different team, I think, won every single major. So there's obviously other players that were performing really well. But like in terms of consistency and just performance overall, like who do you guys think? Like I got my eyes on Celium, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean,
why Celium, Brian? Why do you have MC, man?
Because the guy's just different, man. This guy performs, consistently. He's making clutch plays. He's winning like every single gunfight, and I mean, he's just been different for years, to be honest. He's been putting on a show. You guys have someone else?
I have Celium as well. I don't know if Doug has that
Shotzi
as well.
Is like close to me.
I just think Cell's been so good, and I mean, whether he's won or not, I think he's put up some of the most consistent gameplay across the entirety of the year. They probably have the best average placing, maybe. I want to say they probably do.
I think they do.
From all the majors thus far. And I don't know, like you said, he's just a playmaker. I think the role that he runs is very hard to do, kind of playing that flex role and switching between different guns and still consistently frying. I think he's definitely very impressive, and even in the last major, game 5, he goes like 12-0. Kid's just he's different. He's icy, so he's definitely picked it up over the last several years and started to really find his form.
It's so weird to me that we're both I mean, you guys are both agreeing that Sel is the MVP and he hasn't won anything this year. And when I think
that's crazy.
MVP, when I think most valuable player, I think I think of like Giannis in the NBA when he won the finals and he got the finals MVP and he
Someone
won,
who's
I think, the
won,
regular
right?
season. Yeah, it's like, oh, well, Celium didn't win, so he shouldn't be the MVP. Shotzi was very good and he won. Dashy was really good. He has the same stats. He should be MVP. No, Celium is MVP of the year. I mean, although he hasn't won anything on the game, he's unreal, man. I mean, I was just in the car with Shawnee talking about him. I'm like, dude, this guy just... I had to DM him the other day. I was like, dude, when you spawn up every time in a respawn, like, are you just like thinking really, really, really hard about every little thing you're doing? He's like, no, I just practice how I play. And I'm like, simple as that, man. The guy is just the definition of consistency and also aggression as well. I mean, he isn't the fastest player, but he knows how to go to the right spots at the right time all the time consistently. And he does it across every game mode, every series, all year.
I feel
it's
like
incredible. Honestly.
That's like being impactful. Like I think we can all agree, like being impactful is the number one most important thing as a player. And if he's putting up those numbers while being extremely impactful and for his team and making game-changing plays, it's like, even though they haven't won yet, I mean, they've still been very consistent. They've got a lot of second places finishes, and I think he deserves it for sure.
100%. I mean, dude, he's just unreal. That guy, he needs a raise. I don't know how much he's probably getting paid a lot, but he needs a raise,
the next
man.
thing. He's unreal. We can all agree this. He's a beast. Let's move on to the rookie of the year picks. Now, this is going to be a little bit hard because I'm sure, there's a couple names, right off the rip, just like Sib, Pred. I feel like those are two big names a lot of people are calling.
It's obviously it's gonna be Pred. I mean, dude,
Pred?
I think I'm a big fan of Dante. I'm one of his biggest fans. I've seen this kid. Once I saw him in Challengers and MW, and then I played against him in Cold War. I was like, dude, if you gave me this guy, Challengers, Pro League, whatever.
I remember you saying that to me too.
Right, because I see it, man. Like I know when I see a player, my eyes light up. When I saw Dante, my eyes lit up, and my stock wasn't high enough. He probably didn't think I was good. He probably still doesn't, but I was like, dude, you give me that kid, I'm winning everything. Especially in this Challengers League, I'm winning everything with that kid. As long as I keep his head on straight, winning everything. He's unreal. But Pred, that guy just turned up at the weirdest time. And the way he's doing it with the sub, he obviously doesn't play for any objective. He is a kill-structured sub. He only goes for kills. Lamar goes for the hills. It's very obvious with that team. He's so good. I mean, for a rookie, the numbers he's put up and the event that he won, the way he won it, to put up 1.2
He's honestly
with the
surprising
sub,
me.
it's insane to me. I see subs dropping 0.7s and winning consistently all the time, and then I see this guy Pred dropping 1.2s. Now, to be fair, they just got dead last and he dropped a 1.2. So we can have arguments going back and forth that that's the right type of play style to win consistently. But the bottom line is that the guy won and he got a championship. So he is a champion. He is a winner in one of the hardest leagues to win in. So he's going to get the MVP, in my opinion, for Rookie of the Year, or I guess the Rookie of the Year award, right? But Dante, to me, is a very close second. And it's just unfortunate that it can only go to one player, and it's probably going to go to him just because of his pressure impact on the map with the numbers he puts up.
What do you think, Jerry?
I mean, I'm with you. I think it's easy to say Pred. I think there are a few good arguments for different people, but at the end of the day, he won a championship. He's been frying and he's been picking it up at the best time of the year. We can all know right around the corner when it's champs time, if you can turn up and really kind of just find a footing in your gameplay, it's just the most important time of the year. So like Doug said, he's dropping a 1.2 when he's winning, dropping a 1.2 when he's losing. I think the guy has a huge impact on the game, and it's a big reason why Seattle had found success at that event and really throughout the entirety of the year. So I think he's an easy answer. There's some guys on London you could talk about as well, but just through all year long, through the placings, I think it's just fair to say.
No, there's no one on London compares to what Pred or Sib have done. I mean, London haven't done anything on LAN all year. What have they? Who have they beat on LAN? Who has London beat this year that you said, damn, that was a good win? They have no one. They haven't beaten any top teams on LAN.
I hear you. I hear you.
You can't get Rookie of the Year.
You're just saying that they played pretty well, online, I guess.
Online, they play good online, so that's void to me.
So
like,
you're
not in the
ass?
Conversation. No, I'm not calling them ass. I'm just saying you can't put them in the conversation with Pred. It's just disrespectful to Pred.
I mean, they just went through a lot of struggles too, though. Who knows how it would have been if Gizmo was in the mix the entirety of the year? You could potentially argue Nasty was really dominant, but they had so many weird situations where they were playing with different players, playing with different rosters. Of course, you're going to see really bad results from online to LAN. They're literally playing with 2 main ARs the entirety of the year, so you have no idea what would have happened if they had their whole roster all the way till now. Maybe they would have gotten better on LAN. Celium used to suck on LAN. I remember he went 4-20 something versus Optic, and everyone was like, this guy's horrible, this guy's awful, and everybody's roasting him. And now we're sitting here saying that he's the MVP for the entirety of the season. So I think to say that these guys couldn't have been Rookie of the Year if they had their whole roster is crazy in my opinion.
That's a good counter argument, Jerry. I see it. I see the points that you're trying to make.
I mean,
ultimately, I just look at the results, and that's.
Yeah.
I don't think, and to be fair, I don't think anyone on London.
Hindsight is 2020.
They've had, the rookies have had actually good years on London. I definitely think that they're a good team. I just want to preface that they just haven't had any good results on land, and it's like it is what it is. You just got to keep going.
Yeah.
But I definitely think that they do have bright futures, and I do want to clarify that. I don't want to come off like these guys suck, and I just think it's undisputed. It gets undisputed. It's got to be Pred.
Land does matter more.
Yeah.
We can all agree on that. Land performances
think
matter
a lot of
way
people-
more than online.
People forget about that too nowadays. I just every time I open up the YouTube stream chat and stuff, people are roasting people about all these online performances, and then these teams or individual players turn up at the major, and it's like it really does suck that that's a whole different topic. We don't have to bring.
Yeah,
get into it,
we'll
but-
talk about that soon because actually that's actually a good conversation we can bring up soon. Yeah, I will say I agree with you guys. I think it's Pred. I'm gonna be honest too. When they first formed a team and Pred was on that roster, and I mean their team in general, I had a lot of question marks. I wasn't sure if they were gonna really work, but I mean he definitely proved me wrong. The guy's an animal, and yeah, I think he's gonna end up winning it. But let's move on to the next thing. So we're gonna be talking about what do we want and expect from MW2, and we're gonna start off with the game itself. You know, in a casual standpoint, like what do you guys want to see in the game? For example, I want to see is probably a 10 pick system, a kind of 10-point pick system, kind of how we had like in Black Ops 2, or even just less attachments. I feel like the 10 attachments is OD. It's a lot to work through. I definitely like, I don't know. It's just like, I don't know if that's going to be like the new meta. Is that going to be the new thing going on? But I'd like to see them change that. I don't know what you guys would like to see in the next COD.
I'll go ahead and take it, Doug. I don't know if you got anything after right away, but I got I hope there's some good maps in this Call of Duty, competitive or not, just even casually. I feel like in the last few CODs we're like bringing back all these old maps, and I'm like, how about we get a really good map that we like bring forward into the next few CODs that everybody can talk about. It's like, I don't know, there just hasn't been that good fun public match map that you can play, like for instance, thinking of MW2, like Rust. Like you think of a map like that, just like, oh, this was so much fun to play. I really enjoyed it and hope it comes back in future CODs. But I'm praying that we get some good maps for public and for competitive.
Dude, maps are such a big thing. Yeah, but go ahead,
dude. The easy answer would be the maps, man. Like we haven't had good maps in a long time, but man, I could cry if they don't change this. About the one thing about Vanguard, like everyone has so many complaints about Vanguard. Whatever, I don't care about most of them. The one thing that just I can't do anymore, I'm begging on. Dude, I know there's going to be like 30 trillion attachments on guns again, and it's going to have a lot of the same fruit gaze that we have right now. It is what it is. I mean, Joe Seacott's the one making the game. We know how MW was. Like, we have to be realistic about this here, guys. I'm not going to be that delusionally optimistic guy that says, I'm winning champs on the next Call of Duty. That's going to be amazing. It's great. Like, this is the best COD ever. Dude, we know how this is going to go. The one thing, please, I'm begging, please, expand the mini-map. I'm so sick of looking at a zoomed-in mini-map when I'm spawning in a competitive COD. I don't know where anyone on my team is. I have no idea their timings. There's tactical sprinting. Somebody's getting from P5 to P1 in a second and a half. I don't even know where he's rotating to because of the mini. Like, just make the mini-map zoom out. We have 30 trillion settings on PC COD, dead zone, input, this, that, DLSS, blah, 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 blah. Can we just make the mini-map? Can we have a setting to just zoom the mini-map out a little bit, please? Like, it's so zoomed in, I can't see anything. I don't know what's going on the map, man.
I like that.
Please, more than anything, for the love of God,
is so
make the
important,
mini-map, please just zoom that mini-map out, man. Like, it doesn't get set enough. Just zoom it out, please. I'm begging.
Wait, Doug, that's a good point. Get the what about the sprint? Like, what do you want? Like one sprint instead of like having the tactical sprint and then a regular sprint? I feel like that's.
Oh, I'm not getting greedy, Brian. I'm just baby steps here. Just take the mini map and unzoom it, and we can go from there. Just that's all I'm asking.
Okay, I mean, that's fair enough. You know, something else I like to see. You know, them bring back ranked play. That'd be nice again, but like a better system. How they kind of had it towards the end. Even though I know ranked play is kind of like.
Just see it come out of the gates like hot, not coming to the game like 5 months later.
Yeah,
please,
that'd be nice.
Early. Is it really that
launch.
difficult, man? Is it really hard to just launch it? Like, we could sit here and we could just talk about these things all day long. I'm sure
there's
have
a lot
like
of
15
things.
other topics to cover, though. So I don't want to waste all of our time on this subject.
Yeah. So what is something we would like to see in the CDL next year? Doug, you know what? We're just gonna go straight off. You know, we're going to go straight to you. The Challenger scene this year has been kind of everywhere. You know, I was potentially going to compete in the Challengers this year, and I didn't, thankfully.
Thankfully, I would have given you a job. What do you mean, thankfully? I would have been running it back with you right now.
Listen, Doug, I saw people losing their mind. I saw people quitting. I saw people going to Halo. Like, thank God I did it, honestly.
No, not with me. Not with me on your team, Brian. You
I know you would have my back. You would have had my back. But, like, what do you think of the Challengers this year? Like, what are things that went wrong? What are things that could have gone better?
So was the question CDL or Challengers?
Yeah,
or
CDL related, like next year, like Challengers and like the league itself.
Okay, so I'll just start with league and I'll make this very simple. Daniel, if you're watching this, please do this. This is going to be amazing for viewership and it's going to help everybody a lot. Okay, everyone in the league is going to love this. Players, fans, money is going to get generated from this. These formats are getting slightly better for the Pro League, right? Especially for champs. We got a double elimination 18 bracket. Why is it that Atlanta FaZe can win a world championship by playing 2 teams? Like, that was ridiculous. Even the online COVID one, like when Dallas Empire won, they beat Toronto FaZe. Like, what? I played more series in one day. I beat 5 teams that had 6 combined rings in challengers in one day. And these guys in Atlanta FaZe over 4 or 5 days are playing 3 series to win a world championship with 300K. What is these formats, dude? Okay, they're getting better. One thing you got to do with your format in CDL, if you were going to have 12 teams next year, which we probably will, could we just have 4 groups of 3 teams and the bottom team goes to a loser's bracket round 1 and the top 2 teams go to a bracket, like an 8-team bracket, just so that we can have a little bit more COD to be played for these teams? Because I feel like a lot of these players in the league, like I look at LAG and it's like, there's so much good players and talent and a good mix of players, but it's like, if you don't win that one series that one time, your whole year could be potentially over. It's like, there's not enough COD to be played. So I hope that they could do that in the CDL. Now for challengers, I got a DM from Daniel earlier today. He's like, I'm sorry, man. Wish we could have changed it. I really want to. I know he has his hands caught up with Activision. Something is going on with this company where clearly they're doing something, because I'm the type of guy that gets to the bottom of things under any circumstances. And I really drilled it in the league, Daniel, Spencer specifically, that Challengers is horrible and these players are losing their minds. I mean,
yeah.
I am just like in disbelief at the amount of things I'm seeing in this Challenger system. We all unanimously agree how horrible it is. There's this format that this man Prezi made where essentially like he could distinguish a top 16 seed from 9 to 16, whereas right now in Challengers there's so much good talent around like top 12 seeds. And the problem is that the matchups and the way that these pro points work, it makes it so that maybe a team that's really good is going to get top 16, but they could get like top 10 and get more points. So they need to change Challengers so that you could get points for top 10, points for top 12, points for top 14, top 16, etc. Because the difference in those little seeds really make or break players' careers and teams. I mean, look at me, man. I got top 40 in Minnesota. People thought I was horrible, and now we're consistently getting top 4 or better, beating everybody right now. Now, you could say a million different things. You could say this or that about me or whatever you want, but you don't just simply go from top 48 to 3rd with the same roster. Obviously, we're good. And there's a lot of other players out there that are really good that can't play right now because of these formats. Just to name a few: Fire, Silly, Gunsy. He got second at Challenger Champs and MW. He just got dropped the day before the LCQ. And what league teams are going to look at him now? It's like, why is this happening to these players? It's out of their controls, and their careers are being dictated by things that are totally out of their controls. So it's so sad to see. Eliminate these daily pro points every day. I'm so sick and tired of having to like, I literally have to get on Christmas Day to play a pro point. Are you kidding me? I'm playing against some random people that are doing this for fun, and I'm doing this for a career. Like, why am I being categorized? That's like LeBron James going into a basketball court at a local gym and having to play against a pickup team every day of his life to keep his NBA status a certain way. It's ridiculous. I don't care about your impressions on game battles. I don't care about driving traffic to websites. I don't care about that. That's a short-term goal. Make it about the integrity of the game and these players, and let the passion of these guys get through and resonate so that more people could be attracted to it. That's how you'll have long-term success. And I put the blame directly on Activision. I don't like to see all this slander on Daniel, despite it's his job. And I told him, I'm like, you're the GM, you have the power, do what you need to do. And I'm here for you if you need me. I'll give you any advice whenever you need it. But you're the GM, dude. Like, I don't know who's controlling you right now. I'm pretty sure someone at the top of Activision. Put your foot down and tell them, hey, man, hey, we got to allocate more budget. Hey, man, we got to change this up. I don't care. It's got to get done. Like, someone's got to do something. I'm getting so caught up, dude. It's a lot, man. I could go on forever about this.
Bro, I think the point system is horrible, by the way. I remember having to do that back in 2017 when, as you know, we're classified as a pro team back in IW. And like, I mean, it's just like ridiculous, bro. That was like the least fun I've ever had competing with that, grinding for those GB points.
It's a selfish play. I mean, it's just to drive traffic on a website to get more interactions. It's selfish, honestly. Dude, it's pathetic.
You're definitely
man.
right.
We got to be better. This is pathetic. What are we doing? Are we here to be the best and show who the best is, or are we here to make short-term money and then have a failing business?
And I feel
like, what are we doing here?
I feel bad for the challengers side of things, though, because I know you're competing in it too. Like, so many people who are trying to go pro, so many people putting their, their time and their energy and everything they can into this, and then like they're not getting much support. Not like no one really has their back. It's just like, I don't know. It's so bad right now, and I feel like a lot of these players are the future of CDL, right? Like, these are people who are aspiring to be pro. Some of these guys are going to be pro one day. Maybe a couple years down the road. And it just feels like they might not be able to do that or pursue that anymore because there's no support in the challenger scene right now.
Yeah.
You play challengers too. How do you feel, Jerry? You were in it last year for a little bit on Cold War.
I mean, honestly, it's the reason I'm sitting here creating content every day and not in challengers. It's just like, I feel like it's not supported so much to the point where, let's say, Doug, you're an anomaly here, but like, you've had success in the past, right? And now you got to go back into challengers to prove your worth to these pro league teams that obviously have stigmas and different viewpoints on how your name is, I guess, in the pro scene. And it's like, if there's no support from organizations or no support from the CDL itself for challengers, and you're sitting there paying out of pocket to go to events or hoping you can find sponsors to get you there, and you're theoretically putting all your time into hopefully one day get back into the pro league. For me, it's like, what's the point of doing that? What do I need to prove to people? What do some people need to go back in and do? It feels like almost like you're just in a cycle and you're kind of wasting your time. And it's like, I would love to be able to compete. I'd love to be able to go into challengers and feel like it's worth it. But at the end of the day, I guess you're only going in betting on yourself. You really have no support from really any orgs or any people right now, or a salary. It's hard to like sustain a living only playing challengers.
There's one thing I do want to add to this, just to close it off, and you guys could take it or leave it however you want. Like, there's a lot of new gen people, fans, players who might not see it like this because we're older and we've been around really since the beginning. So we've seen everything. We've seen it from the COD 4 days. We've seen it to the jetpack days. We've seen it to the World War II boots on the ground, to the franchise. Like, we've been around since over a decade. And honestly, man, being in challengers as a guy who's won at the highest level against the best players who still compete to this day, obviously, we need more league spots. We need more teams, blah, 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 blah. We don't have enough of it. But I can tell you without a doubt in my mind, playing in Call of Duty Challengers is way harder than winning at the highest level. This system is damn near impossible to come out of. Anyone who gets out of this Challenger system and becomes a pro, if you actually got through, I don't care how you got through. I don't care if it's because you have friends on the team or a coach liked you and you didn't do anything. Like, who cares? If you get through, man, you got to have the biggest celebration of your life, because I'm telling you, for these new, like for Neptune, for that guy Neptune to drop 0.7s on New York and literally be bullied by Crim6, right? Mm-hmm. I'm thinking this guy's horrible. I'm about to play Neptune. I'm licking my lips. I'm laughing. I'm like, I'm playing this guy's horrible. He's dropping 0.7s in the league. This guy beat us so fast and absolutely world starred us. I'm like, clearly he's in a bad situation on New York. I mean, this guy deserves to be in the league, and he earned it. He just went back into challengers, grinded and do his thing. Him and Mike might have been the two only players who got benched and came back in the league the same year. It's incredible. If I'm them, that's an accomplishment, because this challengers thing, it's so easy for you to lose your career and lose your mind. It happens to so many players in here, no matter how good their talent is, because you're defined by a number on a spreadsheet. You're defined by a pro point that you don't do every day, or you had a bad placement because of this happened, or this guy lagged out, or this guy cheated. There's multiple guys who got banned for cheating in cups this year. I mean, it's ridiculous, dude. Like, challengers is the hardest thing in my life by far.
I completely agree with you. You're definitely right, and that's why I didn't do it. But moving on to the next thing.
But if you had me, it would have been different, Brian. I promise. If you were me, it would have been different.
You might be right, Doug. I mean, you've been doing your thing, which I really love to see, man. But like, is there anything else in the CDL that you guys would like to see change next year? Like, for example, I feel like the online league matches is kind of like a toss-up right now. Online has always been horrible. Maybe like seeing, LAN league matches where there's more consistency involved, where just, showing up in person. I understand they got to figure that out, but maybe something like that, or anything else like you guys would like to see next year?
I think Doug said it perfectly. I think it's, we want LAN league matches. Hopefully, I mean, there's a big list, but if we could boil it down to 2 or 3, I think that's important. And I think what Doug said for the format of these tournaments, I can thoroughly say I played Call of Duty for 11 years professionally, and I've played in the CWL days and I played in the CDL days. Let me tell you, when it switched to the CDL, the one thing that I think every player would ask for is that we get to play the game more at the highest level. I think all the time you go to these tournaments and you could potentially be showing up, traveling to an event, starting in losers bracket, playing a one and done series, losing and going back home. And that was your entire weekend. It's like back in the CWL, we used to show up, we'd play 3 matches on Friday, win or lose, you would still play on Saturday. And it's like you were guaranteed to play at least like 4 to 5 to 6, 7, 8 matches, every single time you're there for the event. That's just like, I can only imagine how all these players feel. And that would be the number one thing if I was still playing. I'd want to play the game more at a tournament.
I agree with you, Jerry. That's a great take, honestly. That's a great take.
Something 100% I'm sure everyone agrees on. But let's move on to the next thing. Let's do an all-time fantasy draft here. Let me bring it up on the screen. So, I already have a BZ. Sorry. Remove the bottom too. Why did I do that? Cog. Okay, let's remove this. Delete row. There we go. So we got Team Apathy, Censor, Slacked. I'm gonna build my fantasy team right away. Okay. One pick at a time. Okay. So I get the first pick. Dude, this is hard. Now that I know I'm against time, I'm against you guys. I feel like I got to get a B. I'm getting a BZ.
Wait, so are we making a 4-man team here, or what are we doing?
Yeah, fantasy.
Exactly
we're gonna
here?
make 4-man team here, and then you get to pick a sub as well.
So 5 players in total.
So 5 players total, but pick your 4-man roster first. So now it's Doug's turn.
Okay, so am I going first?
No, I already went first. I'm doing it on my screen now.
I'm going second, right?
You're going second. Yeah, it's your turn.
Oh my god. Dude, I have to take the GOAT. I'm taking Simp. How do you not take Simp first, dude? Are you ridiculous? I'm taking Simp. Chris Lair, the GOAT.
Simp's the GOAT, but like a BZ is more
Simp
impactful.
would make me tens of millions of dollars if I was associated with that kid in COD, bro. I would Simp, without a doubt.
Wait, do I get a reverse snake draft here? Do I get 2? I get 2. Okay, back to back. So I'm taking Shotzi.
He's taking Shotzi. Yep, I already knew that.
And I'm taking let's see. I need okay, I got Shotzi. Let me get a main AR
I want a
here.
Shotzi.
Yeah, I like this going last. I'll take Dashy as well because my team just got I got half of Optic already, so we're good.
Jesus.
I go next, right?
No, wait. Does Doug go next?
Yeah, it goes back up to Doug. Yep.
It goes back to me now. Okay. And this is all their players in their primes, I'm assuming, right? Obviously.
Yeah.
Aches. Give me Pat.
Aches in his prime?
Yes,
Pat must be in the stream right now.
No. Pat in his prime. Brian, we play with him. We know how he is using his prime.
I mean, yeah, but like, what about Scump, dude? Oh my god, you forgot Scump?
I don't need him. I don't need him.
Okay.
No, you can take him.
John is prime was pretty nasty. I'm gonna go with Scump, dude. I think Scump's one of the, if not the best SMG player of all time right now. So
that's a good sub duo right there too. The slow and the fast.
And
I
Scump.
like that.
Oof.
That's you go again, Brian, too.
Do I go again? Okay, I'm gonna get a main AR here. Crim or Clay? I feel like Crim and Scump are gonna bump heads. Formal, dude. I'm just gonna go Clayster. Fuck it.
Wow, you didn't want to take Formal and get the T2P duo?
Man.
Oh, I messed up. T2P, I forgot. Yeah, I'll take backsies. Can I take backsies?
You could do take backs, dude.
Yeah. One take back, that's it.
I got only for T2P. That's the only reason why. All right, you go, Doug.
I'm to play.
Right. This is tough for me, honestly, because I got my sub. I'm gonna need to have another sub, so I also need to have an AR. Honestly, man, if I want to win against one team one time, I'm taking Crim. Let me get Crim. Yeah, Crim and Pat, dude. Crim and Pat together with Simp.
Oh
yeah, I'm taking that for sure, bro. For sure, bro.
And their primes, yeah. Yeah, in their primes, that's
you guys are about to be blown away here. So I'm just gonna I got Shotzi and Dashy. Dashy's gonna get all the kills on the map. Like I'm not worried about anything else. Then I got Shotzi, probably the best SMG of all time right now. And I'm gonna fill him in with literally the most winningest GOAT, 3-time GOAT Karma. Just throw him in there in his prime. Like, are you kidding me? Damon's about to teach these guys everything on the map. And then just to close it out, so now I got Damon, who's my little flex. So I need a little submachine gun again. So let me throw in Let me throw in Zuma, bro. Like this team's just not losing, bro. I got Zuma, Dashy, Karma, and Shotzi. Like this team's unbelievable, dude. I'm wiping the floor with you guys.
Bro, I wanted Zuma. I wanted him to fill the
Damn,
team.
you guys wanted
man.
Zuma
I
that
needed
bad?
I needed that aggro sub with this team, and now I have to get John. Actually, no. Let me get Brian. I'm taking you, Brian.
God,
Put
am I
Apathy
the
on my
goat?
team. Put him on my team. Look at all those rings.
Let's go.
2 rings, 2 rings, 3 rings, 2 rings.
Oh my
9
god,
rings
so
in
many
total.
rings on that squad. Holy schmoly.
Legendary team.
Yeah, I would want a team with Simper or Beezy one day, but that's never gonna happen anymore. So who should I get? I need an AR. I think really highly of Alec.
Need Ricky.
and-
Wait, free.
Wait, LAG. No. Clay or Alec. Fuck. This is hard.
You need a flex. You got formal. It didn't work in Cold War with them or in MW. What do you think he's gonna run it back
Wait, is
again?
Alex a flex, right?
Alex the main.
Well, you need a flex.
he can
flex.
he
He's
can
a decent
flex.
third SMG. If he needs a pull, he's had some fire games at a third SMG.
You don't want Proofy? Jordan Proofy Cannon? The Meltman?
Dude, I think RCD's he's the glue. I'm going with RCD's. The vibes is just incredible on the squad.
My team's smoking both your teams easily. You guys don't
Nah,
stand a
because
chance.
wait, do I get a sub now? I'm gonna get a sub real quick. Listen, man, if this squad isn't working, I got Clayster too for the sub.
Dude, what are your teams, bro?
Listen, man, if one of the
What
yours
are your
need to be
teams,
changed
bro?
out, I got Clay, bro. Clay's
Okay,
the
no, I see it, I
One of
see
your
it.
subs don't get injured because you're done for.
So you're okay. So you have
Scuffle
ultimate
and Bees are
confidence.
performing nonstop. They're the best.
Yeah. You think your sub duo is just the best. So you're like, all right, if Alec or
Yeah,
Formal
I mean, your
suck, I'm
sub
putting
duo
Clay
might be
in.
better than mine, to be honest.
I see how you're thinking about. Yeah, I see what you're doing there, Brian. I see. All right, so here's the thing about this roster that I built. I have such a dominant, not only is it one of the most accomplished teams, not only do they have that Michael Jordan-esque mentality, not only do they instill fear in their opponents, and they would be laughing at the greatest and just world starring, man. But we're also going to have a guy on the bench. We're going to give this guy some flowers, bro.
Ooh.
We need this guy to get his championship, okay? He's been around for a long time. He hasn't, I think he's won online. I don't think he's won a LAN yet. And I don't mean this in disrespect because I like him a lot. This guy needs to get his earning, man. He's earned it. He hasn't earned it. He hasn't gotten his win. He needs to get his win, and I'm getting Temp, bro. Let me get Temp on my bench because I want my boy Temp to get his chip, dude. It's long overdue. He needs his land chip where it's just like undisputed, and he gets his chip, man. He's been around for a long time. He's been a very good, consistent player. Obviously, his mental maturity and his growth over these past few years has progressed a lot too.
Yeah.
Donnie's coming into his own right now, and I want to see this guy win a chip. Let me get him on this roster too. I'm taking Donnie.
Okay, I like that.
That's
deep.
impressive.
The grit. I love the grit of my team.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
just gonna go with the old school GOAT, like, because if we're talking about the prime here, like, might as well throw him in. What can this guy not do? Put Merc on my bench, like,
Dude,
this
why
guy's
did
literally
he-
one of the greatest casters, one of the greatest players, one of the
He is
greatest
good.
Warzone
Joey
players,
D.
one of the best Call of Duty players of all time. Like, get him on the bench. The guy can do anything. If he wants to cast this roster, he can cast him. If he wants to coach him, he can coach him. This guy can do it all. Literally untradeable GOAT. So just throw Merc on the bench, and that's my squad. My squad is smoking all you guys.
My squad is by far better than all your teams.
Nah, I
It's
think
not
my
even
squad
close.
is the best. Doug's close though. I'm not gonna lie. Yo, but my squad, sheesh. I have like some of the best ARs in the world and best subs in the world.
You got a lot of nice. I mean, these are some of the greatest players of all time here. So I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know.
But my team's the best though. I have the best.
Ricky's
team.
down
Just
there at the
saying.
bottom, like, wait, no, we're not getting paid.
Yo, Rick, I'll put you on a salary. Come boy. Come through, Rick.
Hey, keep my boy paid, man. Throw him on.
Jeez, gotta get him in. Gotta put him on. Oh man, but yeah. I guess that's gonna be my team right there. Fantasy Giraffe. Let's move on to the next thing, and this is gonna be the final segment. We're gonna be doing the champs bracket. Do I have this? Oh, here, let me open it up. I should be signed in this time, so we're good. Apathy 415.
Tell everybody your password.
No, that's my username. Let's get right into this. Obviously, 2022 championship bracket. This is going to be a crazy tournament. I'm excited for this one. Winners round one. We're going to go straight into it. We got FaZe versus the New York Subliners. This is crazy. Subliners been looking good, but FaZe not as good.
ATL 3-1.
FaZe still wins, right? Yeah, let's
FaZe 3-1.
I don't care what
3-1.
just happened at the most recent tournament. I feel like
I think FaZe are winning, but we'll move on to that.
Yeah, we'll talk about this later. But I have high hopes in FaZe to handle business. I think it's going to be a fun tournament to watch. But I think they'll take this series pretty convincingly, in my opinion, versus New York.
Yeah, I agree. We got London versus Seattle Surge. Another toss-up, you think? Seattle, won, but they're looking a little rough right now.
I'm taking London 3-2. I think this is their first big win on land, and they're going to do it at Champs. I know I was roasting them before, but I just got a feeling about this team. I think everyone thinks people think that London is trash right now, which obviously their placings kind of show that, but the league is super competitive. I say it all the time. Like, this team is a good team, and although they haven't had the results on land yet, it would make up for the entire year if they could get some good wins here at Champs. I think they're going to win this first round match, and I love Seattle Surge. I really do.
Question for you, Doug. Do
Yeah.
you think that this is kind of battle of the rookies too? There's a bunch of rookies in this match. This is our first Champs on the big stage. Do you think any pressure gets to them? We've all played our first match at Champs. Like, some people can tend to overthink it. It's a lot bigger tournament. Instead of a $500,000 tournament, it's a $2.5 million tournament. You think maybe some individual performances are I don't know, thrown away, I guess, here? Do you think Pred or Sib could underperform, or Nasty or Gizmo, anything like that, or no?
Everyone can underperform no matter who you are, no matter how long you've been around. If it's your first match or if you're the most experienced, you could be Simp. I mean, didn't Simp go like more than dub neg map 1 of Champs last year? And they lost the map? I mean, he's the GOAT, right? He did. Yeah, it was Moscow Hardpoint. London 3-2. Gizmo is finally going to start stepping up for his team on land, and he's going to take them to this next round on winners round 2.
It's going to be Seattle 3-2 London. Seattle's won a championship. They're looking on fire. They have rookie MVPs. They've won. They've been at the top. I don't think they're going to get nervous. They're going to fry. What do you think, Jerry? You got to be a tiebreaker.
Oh, man, this is tough. London's look good. Seattle's look good. But this is the tournament where you have plenty of time to prep and kind of get ready for your opponent. Winners round 1. I'm going Seattle here. I think Lamar's going to the boys. I think they're going to fry. I think they're going to have their homework done, the vetoes done. They're going to fall right into their trap. And I don't know. London just won't be able to get it done. I'm going Seattle Surge, baby.
I'll say it'll be a 3-2, Doug. But, I think Seattle's going to take it. We'll see. Let's move on. Optic versus Toronto Ultra.
These are nail biters every time they play, bro. Every time they play.
Yeah.
I
honestly don't
know.
know.
You guys go first. Go first.
Optic are just looking a little weak right now, but like I have so much I feel like they have so much potential to be the best, obviously.
This is such a hard match to call, dude, especially this is the winners round 1 match, and I keep saying it, but it's like the flukiest stuff happens. Well, it's not even a fluke if Toronto were to win, but like the craziest stuff happens always in the first round. The team that you think is supposed to win never ends up winning, and then the whole bracket gets messed up. I don't know, dude. I feel like Pat's been saying it all year that he's got Toronto Ultra winning COD Champs, so I'm curious to see if they'd be able to make a run here. It's going to come down to the search and destroys for me in this series. It's going to be an absolute battle. I think I know where I'm going, though. You guys know?
I think Toronto, I don't know. It's like you said it's a close-up, but I just see Optic, they've been prepping. They're probably going to keep grinding hard these next 2 weeks, and they obviously have their roster again. They've had for a month now, but I think he just gives them time. I think they're going to come out hot, and Shotzi's going to have an MVP performance, and he's going to fry like he always does, and they're going to win.
Doug? Gary, what about you? Who do you got?
Oh, God, Doug.
I feel like yes, Toronto.
I got Toronto Ultra winning this one, man. I'm sorry.
But Toronto up to winners round 2, Brian. They're going. They're moving up, man.
What do you think it is? A 3-1 or something? 3-2?
Yeah, I think it's going to be. I think it'll be a 3-1. I don't think it's going to be a 3-2.
I think it's going to be close.
Nah. I don't know what it is.
I just not go down without a fight, Doug.
No, of course. I mean, dude, look at their roster. They're disgusting.
Exactly. So don't expect it.
I don't care about the talent, though. The talent is important, but the chemistry is even more important. And Toronto, without a doubt, has better chemistry than Optic. There's no doubt in my mind.
But Optic still has good chemistry.
Of course they do. I mean, they're one of the best teams in the game. That's why they're here right now. And that's why these series are going to be extremely good, right? We're all looking forward to this. I just think Toronto 3-1. I have no reason for it. There's no logic behind it. I just feel like that is a team. I feel like this is their last hurrah as a team. I don't think this is going to be a team next year. I think they know that. And I think they're just going to
go crazy.
Yeah, I just have a good feeling about them. I don't know why.
All right, well, you guys get your Toronto, but it's a 3-2. LAT versus Boston Breach.
This is where we all
Boston 3-0. Boston Breach 3-0. Boston Breach 3-0. Boston Breach 3-0. Boston Breach 3-0.
Boston Breach 3-0.
App, this is where we all sit back in our chairs and we're just mind blown, and everybody says Call of Duty Vanguard, because the champions of the most recent event get sent down to losers bracket, winners round 1. And Boston Breach comes in and beats them, and everyone's just sitting there like, well, I don't know what happened.
I mean, LAT showed up, but Yeah, I don't know. They maybe don't do that again.
The trend will continue. Who knows? Doug said
I'll give it a
that
3-1.
that what was it? Seattle won and then got dead last. So maybe that'll happen to the
Yeah,
Thieves. Who
no,
knows?
it's possible. All right. Elim round 1 is Subliners versus the Royal Ravens. I feel like Subliners start making a run here.
New York.
I think New York is making a run. Yeah, I agree. New York.
Grueler though. It's like a 3-1, 3-2.
3-1. We'll do a 3-2. London fights for their lives, but New York just comes out on top.
Ryan, this would be crazy right here. Optic testers versus
This would be
Thieves in round 1
amazing.
losers. This would be
crazy round 1. Jesus. God,
Why do I feel like
this would
Thieves
be
are going to make a
Friday
run in
night.
losers?
Thinking Thieves?
Yeah, I think they're going to make a run in losers. They look disgusting. I mean, they should realistically beat Boston.
Everyone
I'm
has
just
no
biased,
faith in
but
Optic anymore, and I feel that way too a little bit, which is crazy. to
Thieves
think.
looks gross,
realistically,
bro.
Boston would probably drop here, and I think that you'd see Optic and Boston play, and Optic would probably handle business. But if this were to happen, which it definitely could, because again, it's COD champs. Yeah, I could see the Thieves
Vanguard.
going far here.
Yeah. Thieves make a
would
run.
have the
Optic
Thieves-
gets
I think
knocked
the
out
Thieves
first
would beat
round.
them. Yeah, I do think that.
Yeah, I feel.
Optic has a tough bracket, man. I think
feel like-
Thieves, they're not going out first round, man. Thieves aren't going to get dead last. They're too good right now, man. Like, they're just dominant right now, honestly. Like, they should beat Boston, like I
a
said.
3-2 probably.
Yeah, I mean, Thieves should honestly be in winner's bracket round 2, but I'm just super biased with Breach, and I do think that we're good. But Thieves, man, they're gross right now. They're definitely not getting double first rounded.
Oh, baby, the best series up top right there. The one everybody's waiting for. FaZe versus Surge.
Seattle Surge. Where's
Does
Nick?
Seattle have their number again? Maybe they throw a Nick for the series, maybe?
FaZe, man. FaZe.
I
It's
think
champs,
FaZe is
dude.
making a run. I think it's a 3-1. FaZe was just looking too strong right now. Just bam. Just to the side.
Yeah, COD
Yeah, I'm
champs
with
are
you
just
on
going to be
that.
diffy with the FaZe spinners on their little
Yeah,
logo
no, they're going to be on
chains. So, yeah.
point. It's demon mode. Toronto versus Boston Breach. Toronto Ultra.
I have whoever wins between Optic and Toronto going kind of far. I think Toronto will make a run here. See a FaZe Toronto. If they're playing Breach here, I
Like a
think they'll definitely
3-1
handle it.
maybe. I don't
Yeah,
know how
3-1
you
sounds
guys think about Breach. Like,
No, I think it'll be a 3-2 because Breach's respawn is better than Toronto's in my opinion. I think Toronto's S&D is better. I'll give it 3-2 to Toronto.
all right, 3-2. Then we got Breach versus Subliners. I think Subliners are winning. I think New York is making a run here, whether losers or winners. I think they make a run.
Okay.
New York is really hard to beat, and their S&D is good. I feel like Breach is lacking in S&D right now, and it's going to be hard to win when you're playing against people like Paul X in S&D and Kismet in S&D, and the way that they play the game, it's not going to be easy to win series if you don't win S&Ds, and I feel like New York's S&D is really good.
I like it.
I think New York are just looking. I mean, they just caught fire at the right time. They just qualify for champs, and they're just going to be working hard. I think there's going to be a force. But we'll say like a 3-1. And then we got
3-1's
Seattle
fair.
versus LATs.
LAT 3-0, man. LAT
Seattle
3-0.
falls short here.
They fall
I love
short.
Seattle. No, I love Seattle, but bro,
For
listen,
real?
LAT is gross. Yeah,
As
LAT
Scumpy would
is
say,
gross.
I'll flail.
And I'll see you later, Seattle. Let's move this some more to
Now we're down to the final 4, guys.
Yeah, it's
Here
top
it is.
4. And Atlanta FaZe. See ya.
FaZe win again.
See, I got Ultra winning this. I have Ultra winning this
You
here.
guys
I
both
do,
have
but-
Ultra winning?
No,
I
you
FaZe. I FaZe.
All right,
I
put
have
FaZe
FaZe winning.
forward. Put FaZe forward.
I'll say
I just
like
think
a
Ultra's gonna
3-2,
win
but I
it.
think FaZe win. I think FaZe is making it all the way.
I do too.
Thieves. I think Thieves are beating New York again.
Yeah,
man.
I think this is where New York falls. What are New York right now here? Top 4, right?
top 4.
I think they're getting
They're
top
out.
4. I think they fall here. LAT
New
just
York's
looking
got their
too
number
strong.
though, low key.
I mean, they definitely could beat them, but you know,
They
I
already
think
did
we're-
beat them. They beat them and lost them in the same day. So obviously, we're looking at the best of the best in the world right now. Like, it
And
is
then
what it is.
Toronto
Someone's gonna
Ultra
lose.
somehow make it to grand finals.
This is all
again.
on Doug.
No,
Doug,
I'm
who do you
kidding.
got?
Ultra, man. I think it's going to be a
Ultra.
rematch of last year
Oh
somehow,
my
some
God.
way.
That would be a lit.
Even
love
though
that.
I think Thieves should win that match, but I don't know. I'm feeling the rematch, man. The FaZe Ultra rematch. And I
Toronto
think FaZe
Ultra beats Los Angeles Thieves, and now we're in the grand finals. FaZe versus Toronto Ultra.
happening
FaZe
again,
finally
boys.
clutch up and FaZe wins 5-3. Bang. GG's.
Yep.
FaZe are your
Yep.
champions.
Yep.
They don't
Yep.
win an event
Yep.
all
FaZe
year long,
finally
but they
win the
win
biggest
COD
tournament of
champs.
the year after
Yep.
placing
It's gonna
second
happen.
3 times.
Yep.
I
After
think it's-
averaging a two placing the whole entire year, they finally get a first. And bang, they win the whole event, and there's a different winner for every single event in Call of Duty Vanguard.
Yep.
That would be
And that's it.
insane. Can you guys imagine that if FaZe does win this, there's been a different winner of even the kickoff and the pro-am. There would not be a single similar winner. That's insane.
That
be
is
nuts.
super crazy, but that would be cool, but
would
not
be cool.
by the same time. But it would be cool, but like, because like it is what it is. But like, yeah. Okay, well, that's it. that was the final segment. I guess let's wrap it up. Thank you guys for being here. Obviously, it's always a pleasure, Doug and Jerry. You know, we have some chemistry. We've known each other for a long time, so it's always fun doing these with you guys. Thank you guys to all the fans who are watching and everyone who was supporting us. These things are really fun to do, so I hope you guys really enjoyed it. And we'll see you in the next episode of P1. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you later.
Peace.